Good news to start the video off with. I finally got my Continental Pro Coaching license, which means I can finally start doing training as per the rules of the save. If you can't remember what the rules were, go back and look at episode 0 of the save and it will explain everything there. But I can now do training and I have done that, and I'm going to celebrate that by having an EFL Cup match against Manchester City. Yeah. How you doing, everybody, and welcome to part 15 of Club 2 of my career here on FM23. I'm Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video, where we've got a Championship League match against Coventry, and then we're going to be welcoming Manchester City to our stadium. Oh boy, I wonder how that one's going to go. And if you are excited to see how those two games are going to go, then please do not forget to leave a like on the video for me, and then hit the subscribe button so you never miss any of the lovely, delicious Football Manager content from this face right here. Why is it delicious? I don't know. It's a word that came out of my mouth. Since you were last with us, I've got to be honest, I think we've cracked it. I don't know what it is, I think we've cracked it. As I mentioned before, I do now have control of training. The rules of the save were we had to get to Continental Pro license before we could actually do our own training schedules. If you've ever watched any of my series before, you know I prefer to do my own training rather than let the assistant manager do it. It's been utterly killing me knowing that the assistant manager has been fumbling training in the way that the assistant manager typically does in Football Manager if you know anything about training, and I don't know about that much, but I know enough to know that that is a thing. So we have got the training just so. If you want to have a quick look at my training, let's have a look. This is, did I do it for November? I didn't do it for November. I've got some schedules which I can upload onto Steam if people were interested. If you are, let me know in the comments. But I've got some for pre-season. I've got some for if it's a 1-game week, a 2-game week, a 3-game week, and if it's an international break as well. So let me know if you are interested in those. But we are current. I mean, this is a 2-game week here, as you can see. Lovely stuff. And we celebrated that by changing the tactic. We have gone to a 4 at the back tactic finally. We've gone to a diamond, and it has definitely had an impact. So if I show you the schedule, first of all, you'll see at the top, currently 5th. Don't say it out loud too much, because we're doing really, really well. And I don't know whether we maybe would be 5th if we hadn't changed the tactic. But as you can see, we started the season with the defensive midfield version of the 5 at the back that we'd been using, the Liverpool tactic, as I like to call it. And it did okay, to be fair. We beat Forest Green, we beat Cardiff. We got by Premier League Crystal Palace on penalties in the EFL Cup second round. But it was around here between the Burnley and the Fulham game. I just wasn't overly impressed with the football that we were doing. Also, other than the Forest Green game, we were conceding in every single game. And I feel like, although a good attack is definitely needed to stay up in the league and to do well in the league, you need a good defence as well. So I decided to do something, and that something was change the tactic. And we've gone to the diamond, and if you look, first game we conceded a goal there. We haven't conceded a goal since. It's been 6 games without conceding a goal. Yes, there's been 2 draws here, but actually we're unbeaten with the diamond. So we beat Middlesbrough 2-1, beat Norwich 1-0. Leyton Orient we smashed in EFL Cup third round 3-0. We then beat Watford 2-0. Rotherham we struggled to get past, as we did Sunderland, but Barnsley we have just beaten 1-0 as well. The attacking side of things is still getting there, but we are having the odd game where we are scoring goals. They are coming from everywhere. Emerson has got a few. Tommy Lee has had a couple of bright patches as well. Ben Knight scored a couple there and has been anonymous ever since. But it has to be said that we are looking pretty decent at the moment. Again, unbeaten with the diamond in 6 games. Well, 7 games in fact. We just haven't conceded in 6, so we're doing very, very well. We're going to get thumped against Coventry, but it is what it is. But yeah, and you know, at Tranmere Stadium, so happy days with that. In terms of transfers, we did bring in a few other players. I'm going to have to try and remind myself who those players are now. I don't think Isaac Hansen Aaron had joined the club at the point of the last game that you saw. He is in from Manchester United. The guy who was from Everton, whose name I forgot, turned us down. I think he went to Spain. But we brought Isaac Hansen Aaron in. He's a good midfielder. He can play in the middle. He can play as the attacking midfielder. He could even do a job as a defending midfielder as well. Been reasonably solid for us, not spectacular, but I think he'll do a good job over the season. We then brought in this guy, his goalkeeper. It is what it is. He's a backup one. He's not very good. He's not going to play for us. Aaron Maguire, thank you for your service. He's a youngster. You don't need to worry about him. We then brought in this guy. Now, a bunch of these are really players who we brought in just for emergency purposes. Kobe Small, this is one that my director of football did. And you know what? He could be decent if we need him. He's 6'3". He's not the quickest in the world, but he's a big lad. He can do big lad things. He's all right. He's not appeared for us yet. He will be an emergency backup, especially now we've gone from 3 at the back to, well, 3 central defenders to 2 central defenders. He is not going to get into the squad very often. We did also get Finley McAllister back as well, and he's a player who I really want to get using more. But at the moment, he is struggling to get into the team. But I think if we do need to call upon him, he will be reliable enough. And then these two actually have played some football. Ozzy Robinson from Wolves, he's coming on loan. He's an English under 18 international. His value is up to 50 million apparently, which is ridiculous. But he's come in, he's played a few games for us. He's been very unspectacular, but he did score an absolute worldie. I can't remember which game it was, but he scored an utter worldie of a goal. And it was just superb and it was fantastic, and I got very happy. And he's not really played that well since then, if I'm being honest, but he's not bad at all. And then we did eventually sign Lucas Dashner. I feel like I spoke about him before. We did offer him a contract and he wanted like £20,000 a week, which was weird. We then went back in for him after getting him back in on another trial, and it was very much more reasonable, £5,000 a week, and he's been okay so far. Unspectacular, but he's done a job. And the only players that have left, I think, since then are a couple of the young players, including Nikolai Winter, one of our 4.5-star potential youngsters, which is delightful. We could not move on Xavier Spearing, which is really frustrating because he is currently just rotting in our under-21s. I mean, he's playing in our under-21s, but we desperately wanted to move him out on loan. No dice, wasn't able to. So hopefully in January someone will come in for him, because I think we need to start moving him on. He's already having an issue with his development, so we are going to have a quick chat with him about that. But we really, really need to move him on and get him playing some regular football elsewhere, because it's not going well at the moment. You might have glanced at the finances. Yeah, they're not great. But you know what? It's fine, because we're currently doing really well in the Championship. Speaking of which, let's have a proper look at this Championship table, shall we? Let's look at that. Look how glorious that is. And again, defensively is the key this season. Look at Lucas Bergstrom. Second on the list behind Jack Butland. Utter insanity. And Sam Barnes is not far behind on this list of average ratings. If we have a look, he's down here on a 7.23, but his recent form, his last 5 games, he would be further up. He has been pretty sensational in his last few games, scored in the last one as well. So that is how the table is looking after our first 11 games. 20 points, 24 points for Middlesbrough, who are at the top of the table. Everything is looking fine. So let's get to today's game against Coventry, and this is the 11 we're going to be putting out there. It is Bergstrom in goal, Lyons, Foster, Pollock, Barnes and Coulson at the back, Doyle, Shackleton and Appiah Forson in the 3-man midfield with Dashner at the tip of it, and Lee is going to be supporting Emerson up front. Lee has been out of form in the recent games. He's actually been really good so far this season. The last couple of games he's not been so much. Emerson's been in and out, and when he's not been scoring, he has been contributing. So the main reason we changed the system, if I'm being completely honest, was because I felt like Emerson was getting isolated in a lot of the games, and we just wanted to see whether we can get him a bit more involved. So in this system, we've got one attacking midfielder, another striker, and 2 midfielders from the more central area of the park who are going to try and get more involved. Now, whether they do or not, I don't know. But so far, it feels like they do. But we also have the defensive stability of the full-backs being further back more than the wing-backs. And I'm hoping that, I mean, to be fair, see how close they were to us. Coventry right behind us in the table. I'm hoping that them being a bit further back and having a holding midfielder in front of the 2-man defence actually is a bit more almost economic than having the 3-man defence. Because the 3-man defence at times really didn't feel like it was worth the trouble, because it felt like it did limit us at times. And particularly, it felt like we got overrun in midfield. So having that extra body in the defensive midfield and having that attacking midfielder at the tip of it, it makes me feel a little bit more secure. I typically do like wingers cutting inside, so it is still weird that I've not got wingers cutting inside. Tommy Lee, by the way, I was talking about how he had a bad run of form. He's gone and scored. He's gone and made me look like an idiot. And it's 1-0 to Tranmere at the imaginatively named Tranmere Stadium. Excellent. The Diamond. I'm a tactical genius, what can I say? Absolute tactical genius. Dashner involved. He goes over to Coulson. Coulson, who's been pretty good out wide. I mean, we had a Coulson at Dartford, didn't we? I kept calling him Agent Coulson. If you're a Marvel fan, you know why. And I have to say, it's the return of Agent Coulson. He's a fullback this time, but he's still doing the job well. Get it out wide to him, and he just finds that pass just so. Beautiful. Emerson lets it run. Lee gets on the end of it. And I tell you what, Tommy Lee, from someone who got relegated relegated with, who was it? He got relegated with Accrington Stanley from League One to League Two. We picked him up in League One, and we've brought him to the Championship, and he's performing like a Championship striker, and that makes me very happy indeed. I mean, a lot of the players who we've brought up are levelling up as well. Barnes is definitely doing it. Lyons Foster looks like he's doing it. Emerson is doing it on occasion. Emerson's kind of looking at your typical big man striker. He kind of feels like he's our Giroud, Olivier Giroud. Doesn't score goals all the time, but he does get involved. He does impact the play, and he does do things for the team. And we'd be lost without him. That's how I feel about him. And Jamie Shackleton went for a worldie, and Zach Emerson goes and scores. I've got a feeling he might be offside. The linesman's flag is up. It is offside. That is a shame. I'm gutted that Jamie Shackleton's goal. I'm gutted that his shot didn't go in. What an attempt this is. God, yeah, he's absolutely miles off, isn't he? And Nathan Bishop, by the way, we did look at him. I think you might already know this. We did look at him in the summer as a goalkeeper before we got Bergstrom in. And it'll be interesting to see, because there was something about him that I didn't like. It might be that he doesn't like big matches or dreads big matches. I wouldn't necessarily count this as a big match. But we are right behind, well, they are right behind us in the table, so maybe they would count it as one. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, we can just get him a bit flustered. I'd like to get him a bit flustered. That'd be lovely. Apaya Forson, the vice-captain now, gets out wide to Coulson. Coulson just running the show on this left-hand side at the moment, which is lovely to see. Goes back to the vice-captain, into Doyle now, over to Barnes. Captain Barnes over to Pollock. Pollock starting to play a little bit better. Had a bit of a ropey start, but he is looking good. I was going to say something, then the point has gone out of my head. Lyons Foster now, a bit isolated, but whips in, looking for Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee's there. Tommy Lee goes down. The referee not interested in it whatsoever. And all of a sudden, I mean, Doyle has just taken out their striker there. Didn't get a card for it. Quite proud of it in that case. And it is half-time, and we are in the lead by just the 1 goal to 0. I don't think we can claim we should be 2-0 up. And we'll just give everyone a pat on the head. And I will just tell Tommy Lee just to slow his roll and calm himself down. I think we'll leave everything as is so far. We'll go into the second half with the same 11, and we'll see what we can do. We'll just ask them to push on a little bit more. We wanted a couple more chances on target. We want to try and get the ball in the back of the net for a second time. That will make me a little bit more comfortable. This would actually put us up to 4th place. Coventry would drop down as far as 10th if things stay as they are. That's quite interesting. Our back line is having a wonderful, wonderful game. And it is a beautiful thing to see, because I was concerned about the goals we were conceding, and we seem to have solved that, and that makes me happy. Right, Dashner's coming off. We're going to bring Ben Knight on. Haven't really found Ben Knight's place this season. Played okay here as a substitute. He's played okay up front as a substitute. Can't start in either of them at the moment. It's a little bit disappointing. This might be a jump too far for him, and it makes me sad, because he really turned things around last season and made me very happy. Bring Ozzy Robinson on for... Bring him on for Shackleton. And we'll move those two round. Ozzy Robinson's playing over on this side as a Mazzala. I do quite like him playing as a Mazzala. Make those two changes for now, and we'll see how we get on. Hopefully, splendidly. I would very much like that. We're getting towards the 80th minute. We'll leave it until the 85th minute, and then we'll just make those last couple of changes to freshen the team up. We'll do that now. That line is really tiring, so we are going to do that. I think we're going to bring on Jakovici, who hasn't really hit the ground running quite as well as Matty Pollock. Matty Pollock has certainly improved in the last few matches. I'm going to actually take Sam Barnes off and rest him. Although he's one of our best players and he's our captain, he has played every game so far, so we do want to make sure we don't burn him out too much. I do also think Hayden Coulson can come off as well, so actually we'll bring Jake O'Brien on, Jakovici can go to left back, and then for our final trick, I'm thinking Zach Emerson will rest him. Ben Knight will go up front, Balagizi will go, and he can play as an attacking midfielder. I think he'll be a bit better off there rather than as a shadow striker. And Ben Knight can go up as, not as a poacher. Goodness me. Apparently he can be a poacher though. Well, I never did. I'll tell you what he's going to be. I'm going to play him as a false 9. Why not? What mad world are we in where I can play a false 9? What utter insanity is this? You watch, you'll go and grab a wonder goal now. The next coming of Messi. Right, let's see. Doyle with a free kick. Looking for an absolute world. It hits the top of the netting or side of the netting. Bishop doesn't really have to do a lot. And the highlight ends. And I think it's another 1-0 win. It is. And do you know what? I don't care. I'll take 1-0s all day long. That'll do. That will do. I tell you what. We've sorted the defence out. Just so. Just so. We're only 4 points off the top. It's insane to even talk about anything above mid-table at the moment. It's insane we're even talking about table. I mean, Shackleton, by the way, did actually come from Coventry. You might know him as a Leeds United player in real life. He is in well, he was at Coventry in this universe. But there is the win. We do very, very well. How is Kumas doing? Is Kumas doing okay? Not really. Bit disappointing. Right. Small little matter of Man City next. Beat Crystal Palace. Practically the same thing. And we are back here for the game against Manchester City. Just having a quick look at how they've actually done in this save. And up until this season, it's been business as usual. First place is, second place is the loss. But actually, this season, they're not doing quite as well. They are currently only 7th. After 11 games played, they've lost 3 games, drawn 3, and only won 5. Erling Haaland is, of course, the top goal scorer in the league. But that's really it from them. I mean, he's player of the match 3 times as well, but that's really it, which I find quite interesting. So, we're still going to get battered. And this is the team that is going to get battered as well. We've got Bergstrom in goal, Lyons, Foster, Pollock, Barnes and Coulson in defence. We've got Doyle, Shackleton, Abiaforce, and then Hansen, Aaron in the midfield with Lee supporting Emerson up front. I have no idea how this is going to go. That's a lie. I'm expecting us to get utterly, utterly battered. But let's have a bit of fun while we're doing it, shall we? We've not adjusted the tactic. We're just going to go for it. From what I can quickly see, it looked like they've rotated the team quite heavily. I mean, I have put some instructions on, player instructions for the opponent. So it looks like they have got a weakened team. You never know. You never know exactly what's going to happen when that happens. I mean, they've got Hendrick up front. Goodness me. Jack Grealish is still there. He's got to be about 30 now. Calvin Phillips is still there. All right. I think we might all know how this is going to go if we're being completely honest. But we do have home advantage. And we started off really well. We've had a couple of chances. We've got one on target. Let's see whether we can do something. They're playing in a weird kit. They've got the home shirt and they don't wear that. Oh, Abiaforce, and that's poor. That's really poor. Pollock does really well to clear it, though. Only as far as Durica. Durica now. Sam Barnes is there. But it's miscommunication at the back, and it's Hendrick who puts it in the back of the net. The second you see Hendrick on a team sheet this far into a save, you know you're in for a bit of a rough time. And it's a shame because we look like from the match stats, we started off really well. And I thought Sam Barnes had dealt with this quite well. But he ends up clearing it into Pollock. Not quite got the chemistry yet. Maybe we should have started O'Neill today. But it's poor from both of them, really. It's a nice attempt. But it is what it is, and we go down by a goal. I'm just going to encourage the boys because let's not let our heads drop. We're expected to lose this game. We're expected to get absolutely shellacked by Manchester City. So if we can put in a good effort, I mean, we nearly got an equaliser there from a set piece. And it's so nice to be able to train properly because we can properly train set pieces now. That makes me very happy. Coulson now, quite far out. Is he going to go for the shot? He does. It's the crossbar. Maybe shouldn't have gone for the shot there. Maybe should have tried to float across in. I love that Man City have got a goalkeeper called Trafford, by the way. There's something quite amusing about that to me. I'm a simple man. I like simple things. Right, Lee trying to get it through to Emerson. By the way, William Saliba of all people. I mean, oh, Sam Barnes. He's had such a good start to the season. But he's cleared it nearly off the line. Redeems himself there, Sam Barnes. Redeems himself really, really well. Player of the season in League 2 was second place in Player of the Season in League 1 and has started off really, really well so far this season in the Championship. He is a Championship player. He's one of our few definite good Championship players. Not just a Championship player, he's a good Championship player. So that would have been a real shame. Man City are starting to carve us up a little bit. Lyons Foster did okay there. Hendrick goes out to Dario. Dario looking to get Durica. Tamara. Hansen Aaron just boots him off the ball. The Man United player getting the Man City player on the floor there. Lee now looking for Jamie Shackleton. Can't quite find him though. We're looking sharp. We're just not quite as sharp as a Premier League team. And this is the thing. This is going to be a real eye-opener because if we want to get promoted, this is the level. Well, this is the extreme level. It's not even the extreme level because it's that rotated team. This is the level we need to really aspire to. And that's really poor from Pollock. Really poor. He's got in the way of a shot that I think was going off target. And you know what? I'm not subjecting him to it anymore. Jake O'Brien's coming on. I'm not even going to risk it. He's made, you can argue, 2 mistakes that have led to 2 goals. That, I think, was definitely his fault. The first one, he could have tried to get out of the way of the ball and he just didn't. And I'm just not going to take the risk. O'Brien's on. And we'll just see how he gets on. He and Barnes do have a partnership, so I'm hoping that does help, although we are on the attack here. And Zach Emerson has gone and scored a bit of a worldie. I said he was our Olivier Giroud. There's evidence of it. It's 2-1. My goodness. You remember last season, I think it was last season, we got Liverpool in the FA Cup. And we gave it a really, really good fight. And we might just be doing the same here. I mean, they're probably going to go out of sight now. But it would be quite nice if we could have a bit more fight. Hansen Aaron gets it to Emerson. Emerson to Lee. And we're breaking here. What a first half of football this is at the Tranmere Stadium. Lee now, out wide. Gets it to Lyons Foster. Looking to run down the line. He does run down the line. He's going to try and swing across in, or he's going to go short. Go short to Doyle. The former Man City man. And Tommy Lee, who was in League 2 he was relegated to League 2 a couple of seasons ago. We signed him. We got mocked relentlessly in the game for signing a player who went down with a relegated team. Has just gone and equalised. It bounces over the line. It counts. It's 2-2. We are matching Man City here, and we have a corner. Doyle whips it in. Sam Barnes, just over. Just over. What utter ridiculousness would this be? Matty Pollock had an absolute shocker. I mean, I've just realised O'Brien actually hasn't come on yet. Say we're happy. I just want to make sure we do definitely get that confirmed. It is confirmed now. He hasn't played any football yet. I don't really know why that did that. Apia Forson's had a bit of a shocker as well. So is Jamie Shackleton. So I think, do we bring on a bit of muscle in the form of Finley McAllister, or do we bring on Ozzy Robinson? I'm going to bring on Ozzy Robinson. I want to go for this now. I want to absolutely go for it. Let's see what happens. Right, Jamie Shackleton. Not really been good enough, sir. Not really been good enough. Brooklyn, calm yourself down. Isaac, I see a bit more from you, but you have looked sharp when we've needed you to be. Lucas, try and step your game up. Oh, we've annoyed the goalkeeper. That's it. Game's over. Right, let's just fire the boys up. And let's see whether we can get a sneaky win. Imagine if we get to the quarterfinals after knocking Man City out. It will be such an upset. Maybe not the biggest upset ever, but it will be up there. I thought it was an upset when we beat Crystal Palace. Goodness me, how ridiculous would it be? And the further this game goes, the more chance we've got. We're going to make a bulk of a load of substitutions now, because the team is starting to get a little tired. Finley McAllister's going to come on for Lyons Foster. We need to bring on another fullback, and currently Frank Tidabo is out, so we can't rely on him as at the moment. He doesn't really want to play complete wing back. We're going to leave him on it and just see how he does. I think that's going to be the right thing to do. Tommy Doyle I want to keep on. Do we take Jamie Shackleton off maybe? Got Dashner. We'll bring Dashner on. Box-to-box role. So to be fair, Ozzy Robinson can play there. Shackleton's tired. We'll take Shackleton off because he's not having a good game. And we'll bring on Dashner for him. Ben Knight's going to come on. Because he can be a little bit of a super sub. And I do like it when it happens. Get Dashner playing as the Mazzala. See whether he can do that. That'll be all 5 changes made. Let's just see whether we can get it done. Fire up the boys for the last little period. We've hung in there with Man City all game. If it's like the Liverpool game where we concede a late goal to lose the game, I will be heartbroken. If we go out on penalties, I will be heartbroken. Big ball over the top. Emerson's going to get down on that. He's lost control of it, though. He's just lost control of it. Doesn't have much of a touch, really. Right, Jack Grealish into Endrick, and we've gone and conceded a late goal. It's been disallowed. Oh, my word, it's been disallowed. Right, boys. Their heads are down. Our heads go up. Let's get them. Let's get a sneaky last goal. Right, we start with a highlight for them. Bassi, whoever he is, into Avila. Whatever his name is, to Kyle Walker, Saliba, former Arsenal player. Where's with Arsenal players going to Man City? Oh, there was an opportunity there for O'Brien. O'Brien has conceded a late corner. We're in the 90th minute. We're about to go into the 91st. There it is, in fact. 91st minute. Grealish whips it in, looking to Avila. Endrick now on the edge of the area. We know he's got some magic in him. And that's offside, surely. It is offside. They've had another goal disallowed for offside. I was just looking at it and I'm thinking there's something not right about it. There's a bunch of them offside. Man City forgetting the offside rule there completely. I was about to say, we know Hendrick's got a bit of magic in him. He didn't have enough there. And it's down to penalties. For the second time in this competition this season, we're back to penalties. What is going on? Okay, penalty takers sorted. Let's do it. Let's try and... I say I'm so proud of your efforts. We've upset the goalkeeper. Tell them we've all got confidence in them. We've upset the goalkeeper and he has got to respond to the first penalty, and it's going to be Hendrick to take. And Hendrick scores. We ended up winning because Crystal Palace missed a penalty very early on, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in this one. Right, Dashner up to take, and he just rolls it in calm as you like past Trafford, and it is 1-1 on the penalties. And it is Avila, or Avila. Don't know how you say it, but he's taking their next penalty, and he, oh my word, straight down the middle, as calm as you like. That's a thing of beauty, even I've got to say that. Right, Tommy Doyle, former Man City youngster, currently at Sheffield United in real life on loan, steps up, puts it against his former employers. Of course, he is our permanent player at this point. Signed him on a free in the summer. Jack Grealish, former hero of my club Aston Villa, steps up to take it, and he, again, it's calm as you like, and it's 3-2 to Man City. We're sticking with them at the moment. And it's Zach Emerson to step up, hopefully make it 3-3. We would like that very, very much, and it is 3-3. I was going to jinx it and say he's not actually much of a regular penalty taker for us, and I've seen him take one in the past where he has missed it. So it's good to see him put it in the back of the net. And Marino does the same for Man City. He makes it 4-3. We cannot be accused of taking this lightly. We have definitely given it everything. We've got Sam Barnes now, the club captain, stepping up, blasts it in the back of the net, and we are 4 apiece going into the final set of penalties in this round of 5. And it's William Saliba, the former Arsenal man, who steps up on a yellow card, steps up to take it, and he hits the post, but it does go in, and it is all down to our final penalty taker. I think it's Ben Knight. It is Ben Knight. I don't know how I feel about this. He's got the ability to do it, but I don't know how I feel about this. Trafford in goal. Ben Knight steps up, and he makes it 5-5. We go to sudden death. Oh my word. Whittles versus Bergstrom. Bergstrom nearly won, but Whittles gets it in, and now it's all on our next penalty taker. And it's Robinson, Ozzy Robinson from Wolverhampton Wanderers. On loan from another Premier League club. Gotta go up against Trafford. Keep us in the game. It was going to happen eventually. And to be fair, if we're going to get knocked out by Man City, that's the way to do it. Because we've shown we can compete with them. Yes, it was their second string, but their second string is a lower mid-table Premier League team, probably, maybe even higher. Oh, I'm proud of that bunch of heroes. I'm a little bit disappointed, but I'm so proud of that bunch of heroes. I was hoping they'd be a little bit happier than that. Maybe we should have eased the pressure on them a little bit. But what a performance that is. I mean, we are a championship club now, so we shouldn't be surprised that we can get a bit closer to them. But I thought that was spectacular. But that is it for today's video. When are we going to be back? We did come back a little bit earlier than I was expecting to. I was going to say around here somewhere, but we're not that far off, to be fair. So we'll go through November. We'll probably go through December, and maybe we'll come back around the beginning of January. So somewhere around here, maybe for the FA Cup. So Barnsley and the FA Cup third round. I mean, with the way that the league is going at the moment, I'm not too worried about skipping a bunch of games, because I think we're going to end up around here somewhere. I think we're probably going to start dropping out in terms of our form, but I think we'll do that. So I will see you in and around the turn of the year, when we turn into the year of our Lord 2027, and hopefully this ridiculous run of form that's got us to 5th place is still going. And hopefully I'm still here, because you never know. A team might come in for me with how we're overachieving. Sunderland, I think, at the moment, are currently without a manager. They are. Graham Murty is currently their caretaker manager. I have been linked with them. I don't think I would go to Sunderland, but I have been linked with them. So who knows what might happen. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you've enjoyed, do not forget to hit the like button on the video for me and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of the lovely Football Manager content that is to come. I've been Stu, you guys have been awesome. See you next time. Cheers.